What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. Before we get started, click that start button. Give us a hoot.
Beyond the finish line, I see the sun rise past the broken lights, through the battles and the lies. Every step I take, I'm leaving chains behind. Week 4 recap. We had some electric games this weekend. Got the new AP poll out. Ohio State at number 1. They had a bye week in week 4. I don't see any reason we drop Ohio State from number 1. We've seen everything we needed to see going into week 5. Now, they do have a pretty far travel this weekend as they head out to Washington. Up at number 2 this week, Miami. Carson Beck is doing exactly what I said he was going to do in the preseason. He's going to throw the ball all over the yard. Malachi Tony, CJ Daniels, and company, they're fun. Game day was there. Miami, of course, the U is back, they say. Now they're going to get some tests. Who knows what's going on with Florida and Napier? Who knows if he has a job by week 10? Time will tell. I'm going to say they've probably set some cardboard boxes outside of his office door. But that payout's pretty big, and so he's either cut the check and get rid of him, or let's let him ride. Let's see what DJ Lagway can do the rest of the season. Number 3 this week, you got Penn State. Penn State has College Game Day coming to town in week 5. They were off in week 4, planning for Oregon. The Oregon Ducks head into Happy Valley to take on them Penn State Nittany Lions. That's going to be a banger. I know Dan Lanning, there's going to be some pressure. They're going to be flying. And, of course, it's Oregon. They're going to have some dope uniforms on. Number 4 this week, LSU. They dominated Southeastern Louisiana. Exactly. That was to be expected from them against the high school team. Georgia off as well as they prep for Alabama coming to town. Crimson Tide. Hopefully Nick Saban did what I said and stayed away from Tuscaloosa for 2 weeks. I don't think so. His lake house looked pretty empty all week long, so I'm assuming he was in the building drawing up a game plan to help old Kalen DeBoer. So they've got Bama coming to town. Athens is going to be wild. If Oregon and Penn State wasn't such a high-key matchup this weekend, game day would probably be at Georgia with Alabama. But it is what it is. I'm assuming they'll have another chance. Georgia just had them. They don't want to talk about Georgia that much. Georgia just had them at Rocky Top, didn't they? So, number 6, Oregon. Number 3, Penn State. It's going to be a big one. Oregon crushed the Beavers. Now, I don't really know the last time that Oregon State was relevant in the football world, but the Sco Ducks took them out. Dante Moore had, I want to say 4 touchdowns, I think, over 300 yards. He's fun. Let's see what he can do against the James Franklin defense this weekend. Number 7, Oklahoma. They had the back and forth matchup with Auburn. That game was that was good. That was a good game. Again, another game that game day probably would have been at had they not been at Norman early in the year. There's those 2 massive calls, the fumble at the beginning of the game. That was a fumble. We all know that. Pass interference at the end of the game. We all know that. There's a million other plays in between. The game wasn't really just decided on those 2 plays. Did they play a huge factor because of what they... Sure. But I don't think that's what changed the game. There was other opportunities that they could have 1 scored or 2 taken the ball away. And so those 2 plays were crucial. They were big. They were massive. They were missed, but I do not think that they are the reason they lost. I do hate it for John Mateer, though, because I'm pretty sure he was the number 1 leading Heisman heading into week 5. because of how good he's been on the field. I mean, he's just been electric. John Mateer has been electric, so I hate to hear he's going to have surgery and he'll be out a few weeks. Did they say how long he's going to be out? Is it 4 to 5 weeks? Okay, so who knows how severe it is. Sounds like Venables is not happy about it, so it may be longer than we even expect because he does not want to talk about a timeline on it. So we will carry on. Florida State, they another beatdown on a lesser opponent, as they should. They're at number 8 going into week 5. Texas A&M at number 9, coming off a big win at Notre Dame. They have a bye week, and they have Auburn coming to town this weekend. That one should be another thriller. I wouldn't count Auburn out of that game. Auburn is a good football team. Jackson Arnold, and I think the loss at Oklahoma may make them better. But we'll see. We'll see. Number 10, right behind A&M, is Texas, beating down their stepbrother, Sam Houston. We all saw Arch flexing on the poor kid from Sam Houston. I'm all about the taunting. I think the flags are crazy, but let's not taunt the middle schoolers, Arch. Come on, dude. Number 11, Indiana. Indiana's got a squad. Had the hype last year not been as crazy as it was. Damn, dogs. I was like, what are y'all tripping on? Okay. Had the media last year not been as crazy as it was for Indiana and Kurt Signetti, this year would have been a little different. I think, personally, this team is way better than the team he had last year. The media is not going to hype them up, which is good for them. I think Fernando Mendoza, the Cal transfer, is very good at football. I think that he has got a good team up there in Indiana. They're rolling over people. I had them beating Illinois this weekend, in which a game a lot of people didn't. But again, I think they're counting out Indiana, unfortunately, just due to what happened last year with them. At number 12, the Texas Tech Red Raiders have arrived. The NIL money in Lubbock, Texas, that has been shown. It's been talked about. Everybody's heard about it. It's not a secret. It's all over the internet. But they're showing it. They did what they had to do at Utah against Devin Dampier and the Utes, just as I expected. That was one of my picks I had going in on the key matchups. Right behind them, 13, we got Ole Miss. They had Tulane, Trinidad with all that gold in his chain. Trinidad, 300 yards, 2 tuds or 3 tuds. I'm probably saying going into week 5, and it's not been announced yet, that Trinidad Chambliss probably still has that starting position. He's looked really good out there. I hate that for Austin Simmons because sometimes that's just what happens and injuries suck. But I do think Trinidad would be the guy they go to. I could be wrong. Lane Kiffin does what he wants to do. But if I had to guess, I would say that I did see he was also their leading rusher. That's not really good for your quarterback, I guess. I mean, if you're running reads, yes, maybe, possibly. Yes, no, maybe so, probably not. But I think he was there. He had over 100 yards rushing as well. And do we really want our quarterback? I mean, I guess so. I don't know. They look good. We'll see. They've got LSU this weekend, so that's going to be a big one. Iowa State at number 14. They had a bye week. Arizona coming to town. Truthfully, I expect on them to do what they should do. Rocco Beck's going to sling the pill. They should win that one pretty big, if I had to guess. Tennessee had a bounce back game. UAB, again, after the heartbreaker last weekend in Knoxville that they should have won, obviously. But this wide receiver, Chris Brazzell, is good. He can high point the ball. I like him a lot. He's going to make some money at the next level and this level. He is very good. At 16, Haynes King and the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. They played Temple, put 45 up on them. Again, that's what you expect with the competition level, you have a lesser opponent. They should put up 45 on them. At number 17, Alabama had a bye week before coming to Georgia. So my biggest thing with Alabama is after the crazy exposure / beatdown / Florida State gave them some medicine, they've kind of steamrolled people. They're coming to Athens with some bad intentions. And I think it's going to be a 12-round slugfest. I think that it is going to be physical, and we'll see. Number 18, Vanderbilt, Diego and the boys put up 70 on Georgia State. Vandy. I got broads in it. Vandy. They put up 70 on Georgia State. How you doing? Keep it moving. Let's go. They got Bama in 2 weeks. At Alabama. Number 19, Michigan. They beat Nebraska by 7. Again, I don't think Nebraska is what people were thinking they are. And so with that, I don't really know if Michigan's win, how much credibility that win over Nebraska has. I'm just not really high on that Nebraska team. I think Dylan Raiola is good at football. Watched his high school tape coming out of Buford his senior year. He's good. Something's not clicking. I don't know if it's is it the Matt Rule system? What is it? Matt Rule is supposed to be old school, physical, getting their identity from their head ball coach. I don't see it. Missouri, this is the one I got wrong. Missouri proved me wrong. I thought Beamer would have his boys ready to bounce back from the Vandy loss last week, and I was wrong. Missouri handled business and kept it moving to week 5. At 21, you got USC, the Trojans. Lincoln Riley has the boys humming in LA. Jaden Mayava, they're good. I think they're being overlooked, and I'm sure Lincoln Riley is okay with that. But they've cracked the top 25. They're 4-0. They're about to start some conference play. We're going to find out who they are, but I personally think that Lincoln Riley's got a little squad. That's just me mixing up a little bit of highlights here and there. West Coast games. Probably not going to make it too. At 22, we've got Notre Dame. We didn't think they'd start 0-3. Hopefully. Nobody thought that Notre Dame was going to start 0-3, and so they handled Purdue to get back on cue. They do head to Arkansas this week, so Arkansas coming off a loss to Memphis. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. That's gonna be an interesting game. Is Notre Dame a fluke, or are they gonna get back on track and start winning some games, pounding the rock, getting Jeremiah Love the ball in space? Number 23, Illinois. They got crushed by Indiana, like crushed. So they head back. They head to Iowa, I think. Yeah, they head to Iowa this weekend. See what they can do in Iowa City. And then 24, Josh Hoover and the TCU Horned Frogs. This is my Big 12 favorite right now. I think that Sonny Dykes and the boys are very, very underrated. They're good. That TCU team, that team is good. Ever since stepping on the field in Chapel Hill, beating the Tar Heels, they're good. Hoover threw for over 300 yards. I want to say he had 5 touchdowns this weekend in week 4. Crazy. So Josh Hoover, he's got to be in the Heisman talk just because of how well he's playing. And then BYU, the Super Soakers crashed the ECU party. They cracked the top 25 this week. Football is in full effect right now. We're living in the moment. There's some really good games happening. Week 5 is turning it up a notch. We are about to get even rowdier. Some big time games this weekend. So that's the top 25 this week. We gonna see you next week for the week 5 recap. Peace.